problem is to write a Python program to multiply two matrices. Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to WsCube Tech. My name is Ayushi Jain, and in this video we will learn how to write a program in Python that will allow us to multiply two matrices. So guys, matrix multiplication is not simple here. We have to use a dot product multiplication over here. That means you cannot multiply an element of a row with the element of a column. Simply, you have to do a different formula. You have to put a different formula over here. Let's see first of all how matrix multiplication work normally in our math. First of all, talking about matrices, what are matrices? Matrices are something, it's a formation in which numbers are arranged in the form of rows and columns. Suppose if we have a matrix called as 1, 2, 4, 7 and another matrix, let's say 5, 3, 6 and 8. Okay. Now if I want to find the matrix multiplication of these two matrices, then how will I find? Here what we need to do, we cannot multiply 1 multiply by 5 and get the first value as 5, 2 multiply by 3 get the second value as 6, 4 multiply by 6 get the third value as 24 and 7 multiply by 8 that is 42. We cannot get the multiplication in this way. What we have to do, the matrix multiplication, the actual matrix multiplication happens in this way, that we multiply the first row, that we multiply this row with this column and again the same row with this column, then this row, then this column, then same row with the next column. So over here how we need to do, we need to write 1 multiply by 5 plus, that means 1 multiply by 5 plus 2 multiply by 6. We are talking about this row and this column. So 2 multiply by 6 over here is 12. This will be my first value. For my second value would be 1 multiply by 3 plus 2 multiply by 8. This will be my second value. My third value would be 4, 7 and 4, 7. That means this row multiply by with the same column. So 4 multiply by 5 plus 7 multiply by 6 and 4 multiply by 3 plus 7 multiply by 8. So here what output we will obtain? Let's see. See here the output would be 5 plus 12, that is 17. Here the output would be 1 multiply by 3, that is 3, 3 plus 16, that is 19. Here we will be getting 20 and 20 plus 42. So the output would be 62. And the last number over here is 4 3 times is 12 plus 7 8 times is 56. So 12 plus 56 would be 68. So this is how we will get the dot product of two matrices. This is how the actual multiplication, matrix multiplication happens. Now what do we need to do? We need to use this same method inside our Python. How do we need to do is, first of all, let's say again if we have two matrices. Let's talk about having two matrices. Now for the matrix multiplication, we need to take care about one thing, that suppose if we have a matrix of 3 times 3, the second matrix that we have, it should also have the first thing as common. That means the number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in our second matrix. That means this could be changed, that this could be 4, this could be 5 or this could be 6, any number. So number of columns could be any over here, but the rows should match with the number of columns that we have in our matrix number 1. So we can take 3 times 3 and 3 times 4 over here, or 2 times 3 and 3 times 2 over here, or any value. Okay. But these two values should be similar over here. This is how matrix multiplication would happen. Otherwise, the matrix multiplication would not happen. So this is one rule that you need to remember. Now what do we need to do? We need to write a matrix over here. So I'll be writing a matrix of 3 by 3 first of all. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 6, 1, 3. Okay. This is my one matrix, and another matrix should have what? 3 columns, but if you want you can have 4 rows over here. So our next matrix should have 3 rows, but if you want you can have 4 columns over here. So I can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 4, 4, 2, 2. Okay, this is my another matrix. Now how the multiplication would happen? For that we will be using a for loop over here, that for I in range. First of all we'll be going inside the columns, because how the multiplication happens, we go with the row, then column, and the addition of again the elements of row, then column, then elements of row, and then the column. Okay. So how the iteration would happen over here? For I in range, first of all we'll go inside this row. For this row we'll be taking len of, let's say the matrix, the name of this matrix is A and the name of this matrix is B. So len of A. Now what we need to do, next thing that we need to do is we need to multiply it with the columns over here. So for columns we will be taking for j in range. What would be our range over here? Len of b, but index would be 0 over here. So index 0 means that we are representing column over here. That means we need to iterate inside the columns. Okay. After this, what we need to do, we need to do it how many times. For how many times we need to get the common number over here. That means the matrix is of 3 times 3 and the other matrix is of 3 times 4. So common element is 3. That means 3 over here is the number of rows that we have over here. So we can also write it in this way for k in range len length of b. That means we can obtain the length of our b, that is the number of rows over here. And what do we need to print over here is, let's understand the formula. That the formula over here would be result. Now in the result we'll be having the values of I and j. That means each value will be obtaining. So that means if the result is in this way, that means 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. First of all, we are talking about this first element over here. So this first element will be what? I and j over here. That would be equal to, plus is equals to, because every time the value will be added. The formula works in this way that whatever our row and column is, the new value is the second element of that row plus the second element of that column, right? Multiply by second element of that column. So every time addition is happening over here, that's why we will be writing result plus is equal to, that means to the result every time the value will be added. What value will be added? We'll be talking about first of all this matrix, that from our A matrix we are talking about the first element. So first element would be I, comma, k multiplied by the first element over here would be k is our row and j is our column. So k and j. Okay. Here k over here in the first matrix is the number of columns, while at the same time k over here in the second matrix is the row. Okay, so this formula, by using this formula we will be finding the matrix, we will be finding the multiplication of the matrix. Let's put this formula inside our Python program and let's see how does it works. So first of all, I need to take a matrix over here. So in the matrix I'll be passing the elements in the format of a list. So I'll be writing 1, 2, 3, comma 4, 5, 6, comma 3, 2, 1. This is my one matrix. This is a matrix of 3 by 3. If I take another matrix, let's say b is equals to, in the square bracket I'll put the values 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 4, 3, 2, 1, comma 5, 6, 7, 8. This is my second matrix. This matrix is of 3 by 4. That means 3 rows are there and 4 columns are there. Now the output that we will obtain, that means our result value would be 0, 0, 0, 0. That means again 3 rows and 4 columns will be obtained. So 0, 0, 0, 0. Again a comma 0, 0, 0, 0. This is how we will obtain the values. Okay. Now what do we need to do? We need to iterate in our for loop. That the for loop will go firstly in this row. So for I in range len length of a, that means first of all we need to go inside the row. Then we'll be talking about the column for j in range, but whose column we are talking about? The b's column we are talking about. So len of b, but this will be row. To make it a column in a square bracket we will pass 0, so it will be a column now. And for k in range would be what over here? The number of rows that are there inside our b, which is equal to the number of columns that we have inside our a. That means our common element over here. So we can write over here len of b. Okay. You can also write len of a and square in the square bracket you can pass 0, because the number of columns and the number of rows over here matches. Okay. Now we need to put our formula, that result, the value of the first value inside our result, that means I and j would be plus is equal to a, I and k. That means our same formula that we have used before. So a, I, k multiply by a, k, j. Not a, but here b will come. So a, I, k multiply by b, K, and J. Now let's run and see what output we will get. Let's print it as well. So print result. If I'll print it, I'll get the output in the format of a list. So let's use a for loop as well. So let me first run and show it to you that what output I will get. So I'm getting output in this way: 24, 26, 28, 30, 54, 59, 64, 69. 16, 18, 20 and 22. We are getting it in the format of a list. That means in a single line. So if I want to print it in the format of a matrix, I'll be writing for I in result colon print I. Now let's run and see what output we will get. So we are getting output in this way. Let's see if it is working properly or not. So we are talking about the first one. So 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. Then 2 multiplied by 4 will be 8. And 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. So 8 plus 15 plus 1. 8 plus 15 is 23 plus 1 is 24. That means our values are correct over here. And if you actually multiply it on a paper, you will get the same output that we have received over here. That means our program is working perfectly fine. All we need to do is we need to put a simple formula over here. And I hope that how we have figured out this formula is clear to you. So I hope guys that you guys have no doubts and no questions, and for more such interesting programs, stay connected guys. Thank you.